A man once hailed as Papua New Guinea's legal titan now stands alone. Paul Paraka, founder of one of the country's largest law firms, a man who trained and employed countless lawyers, told the Supreme Court, "No lawyer is willing to assist me." It is more than a courtroom moment. It is the unraveling of an empire and the beginning of a much darker story. For decades, Paul Paraka lawyers dominated the legal landscape in Papua New Guinea. The firm was powerful, loud, and everywhere. But beneath the success, millions of kina were moving in questionable directions. In 2024, Paraka was convicted of misappropriating 162 million kina in public funds and sentenced to 20 years imprisonment. His empire collapsed overnight. And now, in 2025, he fights alone, stripped of allies, reputation, and trust. When Paraka appeared before Justice David Cannings, he pleaded for more time to file a slip rule application, a desperate attempt to reopen a case already decided. But no lawyer stood beside him, not a junior, not an intern, not even a student. The silence around him raised the question, was this justice or was this fear? Why would an entire legal profession refuse to touch the case of the man who once gave many of them their first job? Paraka was not the only figure in this long-running saga. Jacob Yafi, former Deputy Finance Secretary, was sentenced in October 2025 to 22 years with hard labour for misappropriating 41.8 million kina. The money was funneled through the Department of Finance to Paraka's firm. The sentence was heavy and the message seemed clear. Corruption at this scale would not go unpunished. But the conviction of Yafi raised another uncomfortable question. If bureaucrats and lawyers are being punished, why not the politicians who approved, signed and protected the flow of payments? Reports continue to suggest that high-profile politicians remain untouched despite clear connections to the scandal. The money trail exists, the documents exist, the signatures exist. But prosecutions stop short of reaching the political elite. Is this coincidence or is it protection? Civil society groups demand answers, yet the silence from the corridors of power only grows louder. This is where the conspiracy begins to take form. Was Paraka a mastermind acting alone? Or was he one player in a much larger machine? Did he build his law empire on political promises made behind closed doors by people who now distance themselves from him? Or has he become a scapegoat, sacrificed to shield the powerful from exposure? The questions linger. Why do investigations slow down when they approach political offices? Why are there lawyers for bureaucrats, but none willing to stand beside Paraka? And why does the state seem determined to keep certain names out of the headlines? Paul Paraka's empire has vanished. Jacob Yafi is behind bars. The lawyers once trained under Paraka have scattered and moved on with their lives. But the shadow of the Paraka Saga stretches far beyond legal offices or prison cells. It reaches into Parliament. It touches the core of Papua New Guinea's ongoing struggle with corruption. And it leaves behind one unsettling truth. Justice has been delivered, but only halfway. Paul Paraka now walks alone. Jacob Yafi is paying the price for his role, But the politicians remain free, powerful and untouched. This story is not just about one man's downfall. It is a mirror held up to a nation, exposing the fragile line between justice, power and conspiracy.